A murder in a North Side neighborhood where an adult male has been killed. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay Police are investigating the city's 5th homicide of the year. It happened at a home on Tamarack Place, leaving one man dead. Vasilios Bellows is following the story and joins us in studio. Vasilios, what else do we know here?
Well, Ryan, police arrived to the scene this morning, but they aren't releasing many details on the death, and it's still unclear whether any arrests have been made. A homicide investigation on the city's north side. Emergency services, including Thunder Bay police officers, were called to a residential address in the 300 block of Tamarack Place, off of John Street at 8 o'clock Friday morning. There, they found a male victim who was pronounced dead on scene. It's the 5th murder in Thunder Bay this year. There was a significant police presence around the home throughout the day, with both the major crimes and forensic identification units involved. Officers were seen taking pictures of a minivan next to the home before turning their investigation to the backyard of the residence. Police haven't released any other information at this time, and the victim's connection to the residence or whether any arrests have been made is unclear, though a police spokesperson says further updates will be provided. Anyone with information or surveillance footage is asked to reach out to City Police or Crime Stoppers. Vasilios Bellows, TBT News.
OPP in Greenstone are investigating a fatal single-vehicle crash. It happened around 6:40 last night on Highway 11, about 80 kilometers east of Long Lac. Police say one passenger died at the scene and another was taken to hospital with serious injuries. Highway 11 was closed for more than 10 hours before reopening around 5 o'clock this morning. Well, as we told you on the News Hour yesterday, Equinox Gold held an official opening for its Greenstone gold mine on Thursday. Hundreds of people were invited from the surrounding communities to celebrate the opening of the $1.4 billion mine. Justin Hardy was also there and brings us the story.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Whoa!
The grand opening was a 2-day-long celebration both for the mine and the entire Greenstone area. Guests were given the chance to learn all about what the mine does and got up close and personal with some of the massive machines used in the mine's day-to-day operations. Attendees were also able to pose with a gold brick poured at the mine earlier this year that's worth roughly $3 million. Gordon Campbell, a former British Columbia Premier and one of the directors of Equinox Gold, says the big celebration seemed fitting for a project that had such a long road to get to this point.
I remember being here for the groundbreaking. It was a freezing cold day in the groundbreaking, but we got the ground broken. And what really strikes me today is thousands of people had to come together and work together cooperatively, constructively, looking for solutions when there were problems to bring forward something that, Greenstone mine, which will be a phenomenal economic asset, social asset. We intend to be great citizens and participants in the communities.
Leading up to the ribbon cutting, the crowd was addressed by the leaders of the local municipality and First Nations, as well as Thunder Bay Superior North MP Patty Haidu and Ontario's Minister of Mines George Peary. The community was also greeted and congratulated virtually by the other mines owned by Equinox Gold. The mine also gave the community the chance to say goodbye to someone who has worked closely with Greenstone since the early days of the mine project 12 years ago, Eric Lemontang.
This unconditional support was so great, and thank you all.
Greenstone Mayor James McPherson says he's glad to see the community welcomed in as part of the celebrations.
Well, actually, this is a continuation of what the Greenstone Gold and its predecessors, Premier Gold, had done 12 years ago, almost 15 years ago. At all the community open houses, we've seen the mine, we've seen people from the mine come explain to us what's going to happen, all the different stages of the process. We've been well informed along the way. Now it's time to celebrate.
Campbell adds that in the spirit of that ongoing partnership and communication, the mine will endeavor to keep the surrounding communities up to date with plans and next steps through the expected 15-year lifespan of the mine. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
Geraldton District Hospital received a $1.3 million donation from a fundraising bike ride by Equinox Gold leadership. The ride ended at the Greenstone mine site on Wednesday, kicking off that grand opening celebration. The riders were greeted by a large crowd of cheering community members. The The journey started in Vancouver 3 weeks ago and raised the huge sum thanks to personal donations from Equinox Gold board members, as well as the company's other mines across North and South America. Hospital CEO Daryl Galusha says the $1.3 million will be put toward things like a new mental health room at the facility.
It's over 10% of our operating budget, which is obviously a large amount, and this is funds that we are not taking out of operating funds. Obviously, we don't have the funds to put towards these new initiatives, but to have that, to base these new initiatives off and the changes and the builds within our organization will change the direction of Geraldton District Hospital and really enforce what we want to do, closer to home.
I think our goal was to make sure that there was high quality healthcare in Geraldton for the mine and for the people here. And getting to hear how they want to use the donation and what their plans are for the hospital, I think is fantastic. And they talked about mental health and how that's become a real priority for the medical system here in Ontario, and that it's been something that the community has been looking for in their healthcare system here.
A fire in the far north community of Fort Severn on Hudson Bay has left a multi-unit residence in ruin. Anishinaabe police officers responded to the structural fire at the Sixplex around 4 o'clock Wednesday morning. Fort Severn fire crews were also on scene, but were unable to save the structure, which was completely destroyed. The building was evacuated successfully and no injuries were reported. NAP says an investigation has begun into the cause of the fire. Well, there was also a fire in Sachigo Lake First Nation on Tuesday evening. Again, no injuries were reported, but the home was destroyed. A 29-year-old man from that community has been charged with arson. Thunder Bay's Regional Health Sciences Centre is getting an extra $14.7 million from the provincial government this year. According to the government, the extra money will help keep the ER open, reduce wait times, and help alleviate inflationary and wage pressures. The news was delivered by MPP Kevin Holland's office today without a formal announcement. The hospital is also getting $33,000 for various infrastructure upgrades. Classes begin on Wednesday for local high school and elementary students, and local educators are getting ready to enforce the province's new cell phone restrictions. The guidelines come with a range of consequences for breaking the rules. Jaden Billick spoke with officials from the Lakehead and Catholic school boards and brings us the details.
The hot topic of cell phone usage during class time has been debated for many years. Educators are being asked to fully enforce the new rules for the benefit of their students' learning and take the phones away for the remainder of the day if they're used improperly.
For grades 7 to 12, all cell phones must be powered off or on silent mode or put completely away when they're in their instructional periods. And in K to 6, all cell phones have to be powered off, put away, or on silent mode during the full instructional day.
Robozansky feels putting more focus into enforcing these rules is a necessity, and she doesn't expect many to disagree with the province's decision.
I think this will contribute to student success. I believe that students will be much more focused during instructional time. They won't have the distraction of their cell phone. It's expected that they're out of sight and not a part of the instructional day whatsoever.
The reaction from the Catholic School Board regarding the new set boundaries is quite similar. New Director of Education Jean-Paul Tenier says if a student is constantly caught with their device during instructional hours, they will be sent to the principal's office where progressive discipline will be issued as needed.
It's a provincial-wide initiative. We've had it in place for many years already in our schools, but the big change now is that all social media platforms are going to be banned for students on our networks. So that's kind of the big provincial change this year.
Denier says this big change goes from beyond just a classroom distraction. He feels social media is changing youth in our schools entirely and explains why it certainly doesn't belong in classrooms.
There's a lot of negative effects for learning and for social development in children. It actually changes how they perceive the world and how they think. So the provincial initiative is try to reset and eliminate that distraction in class so that we see higher student achievement.
Classes and the new cell phone rules begin on Wednesday. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
Welcoming events at Lakehead University continued today. Students got to fire a cannon in the green space next to Lake Tamblin. It's an annual tradition by LU's Engineering Student Society to begin the school year with a bang. The firing of the cannon has been on hiatus since the COVID-19 pandemic. Lakehead has its own cannon named Big Thunder that was built by university students back in 1972. Unfortunately, it's since been filled with cement and is no longer active. So the Fort William Historical Society provided a working cannon for today's event. While it's a lot of fun to fire, it also holds significance for prospective engineers.
There's a lot of history around the cannon. As I mentioned earlier, it represents kind of the power and strength of engineering, as well as the fine balance that you have between good things and also destructions at the same time. So you have to make sure you're very responsible.
Work on a new pedestrian bridge near George Burke Park is on schedule and on budget. Crews were out today building the crossing over the McIntyre River. Materials salvaged during the replacement of the Edward Street Bridge are being used in this project to keep costs down. The contract also includes separate work at Marina Park, and the total price tag comes in around $1 million. City project engineer Mike Vogrig says the bridge will fill a gap in the trail system.
This particular location was one that they flagged. The girders fit, and it provides much better access for people trying to access the junior high and the high school, maybe coming from River Terrace, rather than having to walk all the way around on Junot or golf links. So this fills a nice gap for those commuters, students who maybe want to walk to school, bike to school. Also provides some access for recreation, quick way to get to George Burke Park, depending where you live, or get out of George Burke Park.
The bridge is expected to be finished at the end of October. The city's Live on the Waterfront concert series has officially come to an end for the year. Hundreds of people descended on Marina Park last night for the summer send-off, enjoying the free live music one final time this season. It's been a summer full of great music and a lot of fun down at Marina Park. The concert series went out with a bang with Thunder Bay pop duo the Lockyer Boys, as well as DJ Siren and Choir Revolution. City Special Events developer Karen Kadolf says it's been another very successful year for Live on the Waterfront, with some of the biggest crowds to date.
It's exciting because we have put on a successful 8-event series, so that's amazing. And then obviously we have the Lockyer Boys tonight, which everybody always gets very excited about, so we love to see the community out come together. And so it is a little bittersweet that it's over, but at the same time it's been so successful that we're just happy that it's been so amazing.
Live on the Waterfront has always been a goal for us, especially when we started. It's like we even wrote it down on in a notebook and everything, like Live on the Waterfront, headline it, everything there. This is kind of like a dream come true for us still. And I think it's our 3rd time on this stage, but every time it gets a little bigger.
We definitely mark down the Live on the Waterfront day on the calendar every year, and I'm really excited to get back up there.
And Live on the Waterfront will be back again next summer with more entertainment and new bands. Preparations are already underway. This month's Thunder Bay 50-50 jackpot was a whopping $2.2 million. The winning ticket number drawn today was held by Geraldton's Samantha Woods. She got the life-changing call from Hospital Foundation CEO Glenn Craig.
So we pulled our winning tickets moments ago.
Stop it.
And do you know how much the jackpot was?
Yes.
It was a little over $2.2 million.
No.
Yeah, it was actually $2,210,338 to be precise.
No.
Yes, and we drew Samantha Woods' ticket.
Holy serious?
I am deadly serious. You are now a multi-millionaire. That's okay. If somebody called me and told me I was a multi-millionaire, I'd probably freak out too.
Yeah, freak out and let the expletives fly. Why not? Owning 4 dogs, Woods bought tickets because of this month's Dog Days of Summer theme, but she never expected to win the jackpot. She says she plans to use the money to pay off debts, invest, and to help out her sisters. August jackpot means the Thunder Bay 50-50 has now awarded more than $45 million in total prize money across Ontario. Tickets are now on sale for next month with the draw date on September 27th. Yeah, I would be awfully excited as well, Haley, if I were the lucky person on the other end of that call. Unfortunately, we remain here in studio today, but it was a beautiful day weather-wise, so at least we have that.
Oh, absolutely. I know Fiona was one of the people really hoping to win. I actually recall her even saying yesterday, if I'm not here tomorrow, you know why. But I have to confirm it wasn't her who won. I'm just here.
Off.
I'm just here for fun. Yeah. I just, wanted to stick around before the long weekend started to tell you how nice of a start we're getting to this weekend, because we're actually 1 degree hotter than we were expecting to get today. Our high 26. We hit that at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we've been riding that high for a little while. The humidex making it feel like 28, and it's been a mainly sunny day for the most part. Our low was 14 degrees at 8 in the morning, but that's long forgotten now. The only little whispers of cool is in the wind, which has been a little gusty today. We've been getting gusts from westerly directions up to 53 kilometers an hour at times. So definitely a little breezy, but keeping you awake. It's the last day before the long weekend. You got to keep staying chipper. So that's how I am right now. But you know what? 22 seems to be the trend for the rest of the region. And we can see that reflected at this hour. But one of the interesting things that we can't see is in areas like Red Lake and Sioux Lookout, they've been experiencing some smoke today. For most of the areas across the entire region, westerly winds has been the trend. And since that's the case, up from the northwest, they have been seeing some smoke in areas like Red Lake and Sioux Lookout. Luckily, at this hour, they're now just under partly cloudy skies. Kenora has been partly cloudy all day today, too. And then Fort Frances, a little warmer. They got to 24. Now they're cooling off a little bit. They're under mainly sunny skies. And Atikokan and Uppsala both hit 24 at one point today as well, cooling off a little bit. Armstrong, though, was one of those areas that had a sunnier morning but then a cloudier afternoon, so they're starting to cool off a little bit. Nipigon, though, staying strong. They're at 24 at this hour. Greenstone, however, is a little cloudy, but they had sun all day long up until now, so they're just getting the cloudier skies now. Now, our cooler areas, Marathon and Wawa, they're definitely cooler because areas like Marathon, they had a misty morning, which kept them cooler longer, and now they're just partly cloudy, where Wawa, they actually saw quite a bit of rain today, even heavy at times. That has cleared now, but they actually got more rain than we were expecting, especially since we were seeing more hit around Sault Ste. Marie. But today in Sault Ste. Marie, they just got periodic showers, so they got quite lucky. For the most part, they were a mix of sun and cloud. They're under mostly cloudy conditions now, and 21 degrees. Now for Thunder Bay tonight, it's looking quite nice, a low of 12 and a few clouds. We're still gonna get those westerly winds, but the gusts will die down as we lead from evening into overnight. But Ryan, I have some news. There's a reason they call me Hot Weather Haley and not No Rain Haley. Okay, I try my best, but there's only so much I can do. I'll give you the details about what's coming into the long weekend, but what may go away in a little bit.
Well, I can't imagine what it is.
I know, I'm so good at teasing these things.
Yeah, exactly. No clues there at all. All right, well, no easy transition to this story, unfortunately. Tragedy out of the hockey world today. Johnny Gaudreau, longtime Calgary Flame, more recently of the Columbus Blue Jackets, has been killed along with his brother in New Jersey. They were hit while on their bikes by an allegedly drunk driver, and it gets worse. They were there to celebrate their sister's wedding. We'll have more details on that when your news hour continues right after the break.